بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our sessions on Islamic theory of education. Our time is very limited, so I ask Allah for help. We have already talked about significance of knowledge and teaching and learning in the Quran and Hadith. Then we talked about what we mean by knowledge, and then about rights of teachers over students and rights of students over teachers. I want to talk about few manners that we have to observe, and then inshallah what we should aim at Islamic education, what we want to achieve. One of the things that we find in Islam is to honor teachers. It's very important to honor teachers. Maybe sometimes you as teachers cannot say this to the students, but principals, head teachers, other teachers should educate children about this. It's very important that we honor our teachers. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man istaqbala al-ulama faqad istaqbalani." Whoever welcomes ulama has welcomed me. وَمَنْ زَارَ الْعُلَمَاء فَقَدْ زَارَنِي. Whoever visits ulama has visited me. وَمَنْ جَالَسَ الْعُلَمَاء فَقَدْ جَالَسَنِي. Whoever sits with ulama has sat with me. وَمَنْ جَالَسَنِي فَكَأَنَّمَا جَالَسَ رَبِّي. And whoever sits with me, it's as if he has sat with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means that when you are in the presence of ulama, this is a godly meeting. It's a godly atmosphere. It's a spiritual atmosphere and a space, and we should appreciate. You know this hadith that Musa alayhi salam said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أَقَرِيبٌ أَنْتَ فَأُنَاجِيكَ أَمْ بَعِيدٌ أَنْتَ فَأُنَادِيكَ. Are you near so that I whisper to you, or you are far so that I have to call? Allah said, أَنَا جَلِيسٌ مَنْ ذَكَرَنِي. I am sitting next to the one who remembers me. So if you just remember me, I am with you. So don't be surprised if here Rasulullah talks about sitting with Allah. To be jalis of Allah, to be sitting with Allah means to be in His presence. Of course, Allah is present everywhere. When you acknowledge His presence, then for you He is present. If you don't acknowledge His presence, for you He is absent, because you are absent. Yeah. Sometimes someone is here, but I don't pay attention. It's like He's absent. Allah is everywhere, but depending on how much we pay attention to Him, then He would be for us present or not. This is the concept of wajhullah. Wajhullah, seeking face of God. Aynama tuwallu fathamma wajhullah. Allah is everywhere. But the condition is that you have to turn to Him. Aynama tuwallu. But if you don't pay attention, even in masjid you cannot find Him. Even in Kaaba you cannot find Him, if you don't pay attention. And if you pay attention, He is everywhere. Of course, He is more present in some places, but for someone who is seeking God, he can find Him everywhere. So, this is about honoring ulama. In another hadith, which is from Amirul Mu'mineen, that was from the Prophet. Amir al-Mu'minin says, Man waqqara aliman faqad waqqara rabbah. Whoever honors an alim has honored his Lord. So if we show honor to ulama, and of course after ulama we have teachers. If they are alim, alhamdulillah. If they are not alim, at least they are seekers of knowledge and they spread the knowledge. We have this beautiful hadith that Khizr alayhi salam, it's not from Prophet or Imams, but it's from Prophet Khizr. That Khizr said to Musa alayhi salam, Ya Musa, tafarrag lil ilm in kunta turiduh. It's about the manner. If you are really interested in knowledge, you have to make yourself free for knowledge. Tafarrag lil ilm in kunta turiduh. Anything you want to master, you have to make yourself free for that. Maybe you say, I'm busy. I say, make yourself free. It means that you need to make efforts to create time for yourself, to create a space for learning for yourself. No one would come and tell you, I give you time. Go and use it. Yeah? No one would say, I give you 100 hours time, you go and use it. You have to create your own free time for learning. And if we are good in managing, we can find time. One of ulama, I think was Sahib al-Urwa, rahmatullah alayh. He used to say, Tawzi'ul waqti tawsi'uh. Tawzi'ul waqti tawsi'uh. If you manage to distribute your time and allocate your time wisely, then you expand your time. You see people who have the same time as like us, their day is also 24 hours. It's not their day is 40, 50 hours. But how much they do every day? And someone who has no good management for time says, I cannot do anything. It's a matter of how much you are good in managing your time. So, Khizr alayhi salam said to Musa, Ya Musa, tafarrag lil ilm in kunta turiduhu. Make yourself available and free your time for knowledge if you seek knowledge. فَإِنَّ الْعِلْمَ لِمَنْ تَفَرَّغَ. Because truly knowledge is for someone who makes himself or herself free and available for knowledge. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam said, على المتعلم أن يدئب نفسه في طلب العلم. على المتعلم أن يدئب نفسه في طلب العلم. It is upon the seeker of knowledge, upon the learner, to train himself for seeking knowledge. You have to make it as a habit. You have to develop this habit of learning. If it becomes a habit, it becomes easier. وَلَا يَمَلْ مِنْ تَعَلُّمِ. You should not feel bored with learning. وَلَا يَسْتَكْثِرَ مَا عَلَمَ. And don't count what you have learned many and too much. Don't say, I know a lot. I have learned a lot. No. If you have really learned, you know that what you have learned is nothing. Those who think they know a lot is because they don't know anything. Yeah? Yeah. But those who are really knowledgeable, they know that there are much more to know.
We said that knowledge is like ocean. Each time you are taking from it, still you are thirsty.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like salty water.
Yeah.
Hadith says it's like salty water. When you are thirsty, if you take salty water, you become more thirsty. Yeah? Amir al-Mu'minin in another hadith said, لا يحرز العلم إلا من يطيل درسه. No one can gain knowledge unless he or she would prolong a study. Alhamdulillah, in our houses, we have this tradition of many, many years of studying. Sometimes when I talk to visitors in Qom, non-Muslims, for example, who come, I say, when it comes to knowledge, we don't rush. We take our time to learn things properly. And I tell them 5-6 years is just to warm up. In Jose, if you study 5-6 years, means you are just starting. You have just finished Muqaddamat and have done something basic. If you want to be a scholar, prepare yourself for 15-20 years. Knowledge is not something cheap, And as far as I know, I don't know in any tradition in the world, even Muslims, that they spend this much on learning. In Christians, among Christians, Jesuits are also known for long-term studies, but I think even they are not studying this much. Because when it comes to knowledge, you have to make sure that you understand everything from foundations properly. And there are different sciences that you need to bring them together in order to understand Quran and Hadith. You need Sarf, you need Nahr, you need Balagha, you need Mantiq, you need Usul al-Fiqh, you need Kalam, you need philosophy, so it's not easy. One of the things which is very important is that learning should be with thinking and analyzing, not just putting something in your memory, your mind. Yes? You have to process the information by thinking. Thinking is very important. It said that one of ulama in Qom said his student that last night you didn't study properly. He said, yes, I studied properly till late, my light was on. And he said, yes, I came and checked, your light was on. And this shows that you were reading, not thinking. Because when you think, you don't need your light to be on. In that past, it was very difficult to keep light on, So it says, studying and reading is not enough. You have to have some time for thinking.
Analyzing.
Yes. Some ulama have, for example, many books, mashallah, especially very good in library. But some ulama don't have many books, but they read every book very carefully. For example, I was told by my teacher that, for example, Imam Khomeini didn't used to have lots of books in his home, but he was a person who was studying but thinking a lot. Having books is very good, I'm not understanding, but I'm saying more than having books, it's important how much you process and think about those things that you read. So, tafakkur is very important. من أكثر الفكر فيما تعلمه أتقن علمه. Amir al-Mu'minin says, whoever thinks a lot about what he or she is learning would learn properly. وَفَهِمَ مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ يَفْهَمْ. And he would understand or she would understand what was not understanding. Because when you read and then you think, you go deeper and deeper. Of course, we very much also encourage mubahasa, discussion. Because you study, you think, but then with 2 people, 3 people, you discuss and you really go into roots of every question and challenge each other, look from different perspectives, so you understand better, and also you can memorize better. And you can also explain better. You become a good teacher. Because in Mubayasa, what we do, one person becomes teacher. takes the role of teacher and starts saying the same dars that they have taken from Ustad to others. Yes? So it's a practice of teaching, but also you have to answer to questions. It's very good.
Is it the same as tadabbur? When you read Quran and you are reading it,
For thinking.
Tafsir,
Yes.
messages at the same time you are thinking about it.
Yes.
What is the word? Why and how?
Yeah.
That means you are analyzing it. You are interpreting it in good things.
Yes. But tadabbur maybe is more used for text.
Yeah.
Yes. But thinking can be for text, it can be for idea. Another thing is that knowledge and practice come together. Knowledge has this quality. Please remember this quality. Knowledge is very good, but has a problem. If you don't practice it, it would damage you. It's not like other things. For example, I buy a car. If I don't use it, okay, it remains new. Yeah? If you don't use your car, it's not going to harm you. You buy a computer, you don't use it, okay. They say there was a shop, they used to sell brains of dead people. If you want to change or you want a spare part. So they said, this is, for example, brain of Einstein. It was expensive. Then there was a brain which was more expensive. He said, who was this person that his brain is more expensive than Einstein? He said, he was an illiterate person, uneducated, not thinking. His brain is expensive because it's brand new. So, many things, of course not brain, but many things when we don't use, okay, they are not going to harm us. Yeah? We just wasted them or left them aside. But knowledge is different. Knowledge, when it comes, you cannot remain the same. Either you have to improve or you go lower. It's impossible to remain the same. Either you act upon it and improve, or you ignore it and you go lower. Either it softens your heart, or your heart becomes hard. There is no middle way. This is the problem of knowledge, if you can call it problem. You understand?
Is it depend on the knowledge that they are taking, or all the knowledge? Or
any knowledge which has practical implication. We said, you remember, we said knowledge that can help you to become a better person. We are talking about, not about physics and mathematics. But any knowledge about how you should behave, how should you believe, if you don't act upon it, if you ignore it, you become lower. This is very important. Another thing that you have to understand, which we have in our hadith, is that we should not act without proper knowledge. We should not run things by, trial and error. Okay, we learn. We make mistakes and learn. We don't have time to waste. We have to learn. We have to benefit from experiences of other people. We have to take advice. We cannot say, okay, go and gradually you learn from your mistakes. This is not possible. Each of these have hadith that we can mention, but I mention only maybe one sample. For example, this famous hadith that you all have heard, Al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam يقول العامل على غير بصيرة كالسائر على غير الطريق. The one who acts without insight is like the one who is traveling but on a mistaken road. Yeah? You are not going to the proper road. Either you are going to another road or you are going from jungles and valleys, not a road. There is no tariq. ولا يزيده سرعة السير من الطريق إلا بعدا. The faster you go, the farther you go away. Sometimes people say, okay, let me go faster and finish this. But when you go to wrong direction, the best thing is quickly come back. Not that insist more and you think you can solve the problem. You cannot solve the problem by ignoring the truth. This hadith is one of my favorite hadiths. It's very beautiful. Please, all of you write it down in your heart, not just on paper. Imam Sadiq is mentioning this story from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. جاء رجل إلى رسول الله. Imam Sadiq says, a man went to the Prophet. فقال يا رسول الله ما العلم. O Messenger of God, what is knowledge? Rasulullah said, al-insat, to be silent and listen. Yeah, insat means listen to something carefully. You have to close your mouth and open your ear. Yes? Although our ear has no, door, unfortunately, I don't know why it's closed all the time. And mouth, which has door to close, it's open. We act against the law of creation. Yes? For ear, Allah has not given any door, so that it's always open. Yes? For mouth and eyes, Allah has put door to close them sometimes, but no, it's very difficult. We prefer to speak than listening. So the first step is silence. Then he said, ask, then what? Rasulullah said, al-istima, listen. Silence and then listening. Okay, so insat. إذا قرأ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا. Listen and be silent. Okay? So, the first thing is silence. The second is listening. Then he said, ثم ما? What next? Then Rasulullah said, al-hifz, to memorize, to preserve. Unfortunately, salam alaikum, in modern systems of education, normally they don't give that much importance to memorization. Yeah? Sometimes in the past there was exaggeration on memorization. You had to memorize everything. But now I think we have gone to the other extreme and people don't memorize anything. We don't use our memory that much nowadays. Yeah? In the past, for example, you used to know telephone number of all your relatives and friends and office. Now we may even not know our own home number. Yeah. So when you don't use your memory, then your memory becomes weaker and weaker. Yes. Especially when it comes to knowledge. One of my relatives gave me a very good advice when I was a teenager. May Allah inshallah reward him. He told me try to memorize Quranic verses and hadith in the books that you read. Because when I was a teenager, I used to read, books of Ayatollah Mutahari, other books, And he told me try to memorize it. That's very good advice. So I used to memorize these verses, and it helped me a lot. Especially when you are a young person, you memorize, then inshallah they will remain more. So one of the things that you should encourage your students is to memorize, not pressurize them, but to use their memory, at least voluntary, memorization, but give them some prize or something, because they have to use their memory. So Rasulullah said, after silence and listening, al-hifz, to memorize and preserve. Imagine if you read 100 books, but you don't remember anything. But if you read 5 books and you remember, it's much better. Then he said, ثُمَّ مَهْ, what next? Rasulullah said, al-amalu bih. After that, when you understood properly and you memorized it and preserved it, then act upon it. Then he said, ثُمَّ مَهْ, Ya Rasulullah, what next? Then Rasulullah said, nashruhu. Now you spread it. But first you act upon it, then spread it. Yes? Not that you don't use it and just spread it. I remember one of the scholars in Qom used to say a very good point to Talaba. He said, we have to be careful. Sometimes we go to a lecture on akhlaq, to an alim or people who are very good in educating us. And then you say, okay, this is a very good point. I write it down, then I can use it on member, or I can use it in classroom. He was saying, this is not good. You have to say, this is a very good point. I'm going to practice it. This is a very good point. I'm going to reflect on it. Then, for sure, if you benefit from it, then you can share it with other people. We don't go to member or to class to take notes so that we go and share with other people. We should first learn for our own improvement. It's very important, very subtle point. So after all this is nashruhu, to spread it. Al-amal. Al-amalu bih, then nashruhu. Concentration is part of thinking, but insat is
like attention.
The beginning, even before listening, means to be silent.
Silent and to be attention.
That is istima. Because first is insat, then istima. So insat means be silent.
Yeah, silent.
Istima means listen carefully.
Yeah,
but still, there is nothing to concentrate. So first, be silent. Second, listen carefully.
Yeah.
فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا. Yeah. No. It can be laf wa nashr, sometimes the order is, but here, insat is first, istima is second. So you are silent and you listen.
Even if you are listening sometimes, you are listening to someone, but you are not giving attention to them, what you are what he is saying.
Yes.
And you are not absorbing
Exactly.
what he is saying.
Yes.
Then it is absorbing.
So this is why we say both of them. We don't say just listen.
Yeah.
First, you have to be silent.
Yeah.
Not only physically silent. You have to silence your inner voice also.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I am listening to you physically, but inside I am talking.
Yeah.
Inside I am not listening carefully. Sometimes we have already made decision. And we don't let the person express himself or herself. For example, say, I know he's going to say something useless. Just I pretend that, I'm listening because I know it's useless, for example. This is not good. Even if someone 100 times has said useless thing, maybe this time wants to say something good. Yeah? So between colleagues or husband and wife, because they have listened a lot to each other, it's very difficult to remain objective. Because you have always lots of prejudice or lots of presuppositions. Yeah? And they can filter your listening.
Yeah, so does it matter because in the Quran, in the ayah, قدم الاستماع على الإنسان.
Yeah.
While Prophet قدم الإنسان ثم الاستماع. You say Prophet.
Yes, Imam Sadiq from Prophet.
So قدمه على
Yeah.
It is the same. It's whether this person doesn't matter.
Both of them are needed.
Yeah, but because ثم, that means they are separate.
Here it's summa. In the Quran is wav.
Exactly.
And wav in Arabic, in Arabic, wav doesn't show tartib. In Arabic, wav doesn't show tartib.
Yeah.
If we say ja'a Zaydun wa Amrun, it doesn't mean Zayd came first.
عطف على هذا.
If we say ja'a Zaydun fa Amrun, or ja'a Zaydun thumma Amrun, it shows tartib. Tartib بالتصال or tartib بالتراخي. But wav mujarradul atf. Yes. So these two have come. Maybe Zayd came first, maybe Amr came first, maybe both of them came together. Zaydun wa Amrun doesn't show order. So, listening is difficult. Physical listening is difficult. But more difficult than physical listening is proper listening. That you let that person talk to your heart. Not that person talk. You first send it to your mind, censor it, and just let whatever you like go to your heart. Why some people, if you speak sometimes, or maybe ourselves, let's not talk about people, but ourselves. Sometimes people speak to us hours we don't accept. It's not always because we have good reason. Many times because we don't listen carefully about what they say. We just want to defend our own position. So it's very important that you empty yourself from any prejudice and listen to that person. It's very difficult. One of the signs of most successful people is that they are good listeners. People think they are good speakers. But I think more important than being good speaker is to be good listener. And if you are a good listener, you can become also a good speaker.
But more difficult to be listener.
Yes. To listen. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says about the brother that he had before. كان لي فيما مضى أخ في الله. We had it in Bina Zat. One of the characteristics of that brother in God that Amir al-Mu'minin refers to is that كان على أن يسمع أحرص منه على أن يتكلم. He was more interested in listening than talking. Yes? It's very rare quality. Most of people are more interested in talking Or if they feel shy about talking, they say, okay, I don't talk and don't listen. Hardly you find people who are very happy to listen. But Rasulullah was very much listening, to the extent that some people tried to criticize Rasulullah. وَمِنْهُمُ الَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ النَّبِيَّ وَيَقُولُونَ هُوَ أُذُنٌ. Some people annoy the Prophet saying his ear, because they wanted to say he's only listening, his ear. And Allah doesn't say this is wrong. Allah actually confirms, says yes, but هُوَ أُذُنُ خَيْرًا لَكُمْ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَيُؤْمِنُ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. He's a good ear. So even Allah confirms that his ear. And it's really a miracle to be prophet that Allah reveals to you Quran. Jibreel comes to you and then listen to people. And some of them were not educated, some of them were not wise, They used to say everything. Rasulullah was not rushing them. Yeah? Sometimes people tell me, when we speak to you, we feel guilty. Because we know you are busy, so we feel guilty. But then in my heart, I feel bad that why I have given them this impression that they cannot comfortably talk to me. But maybe they think, I am busy. But Rasulullah was someone that people stopped him on the road, on the street, talked to him, and he was relaxed and listening to them. And everyone thought that Rasulullah loves him or her the most, or he's the most important person. Yes? This is what we need to learn, inshallah. Okay. Now I want to go to some aims of Islamic education, because our time is very limited and we have to say many things. What do we want to achieve? If someone asks you, you are a teacher, what do you want to achieve? Maybe you say, I want them to understand the subject. But our purpose is not just pass some information. We don't want just to let them be familiar with the subject. Yes? Islamic education, as Ayatollah Mutahari says, is like growing a flower. You help a person to grow and fulfill his or her potentials, materialize his or her potential. Yeah? You are not just filling them with some information. A teacher is the one that helps someone to develop. Socrates had an idea which we may not 100% agree, but was some truth in it. And it says, teacher, Socrates. Socrates used to say, teacher is like a midwife. Helps the student to develop by himself or herself ideas, like you help a woman to deliver the baby. The woman has to deliver the baby, yeah, not the midwife, but you help. So Socrates used to say that teacher should help the student to do the job, to develop ideas, to grow in understanding, but with the help and assistance. Like, someone who is trying to help a child to learn how to walk. How do you help a child to walk? Do you carry the child with your hand and walk fast? Or you put the child on the floor and try to help him, but let the child walk, yeah, with supervision, with help. So, in Islamic education, what we want to do is to help students to develop themselves, and we are just offering assistance. We should not think that we must do things. You should grow them. So, if after 1 year of teaching, I ask you, what have you done with this class? And you show me, for example, a book or some notes that we taught them all these things. This is not enough. It's good, but not enough. If you say we have done these activities, I have given these lectures, it still is not enough. If you say, we had some prayer, some activities, Salatul Jama'ah, whatever, again, it's not enough. Your success can be measured by how much you have helped these children to develop, to grow. This is important. Okay? In their character. And inshallah, I will talk. What are the things that they should learn and develop in themselves? Okay? You are not accountable for result, but you should aim at achieving these things. Okay? For example, you want them to become people who have deep sense of responsibility. It's very important. Yes? We should make them able to have sense of responsibility. Maybe you do all your best, they don't become responsible, but you should try to do this. This is very important. Or for example, inshallah I will talk if there is time. You make them love Salat. Not just make them say prayer. To make them say prayer is not enough. Because then when you are not there, or the parents are not there, they don't say prayer. But if you can develop love and respect for Salat in them, even if no one is there, they will do it. Even if someone asks them not to say prayer, they will do it. Because they have love for Salat. So, you may say, I did my best and this person didn't appreciate. Okay, I know everyone at the end has to make his or her own choice. But we have to plan for it. We have to work for it. We have to target that. Whether it happens or not, it's between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, I want to mention few things that in Islamic education we try to achieve. Of course, sometimes we have more than one teacher, more than one classes, then we have to divide this task among them. One thing is knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma'rifatullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam said, Awwaluddin ma'rifatuh. The first, and perhaps the first can be the basis, the foundation, the most important thing that you should aim at. Yeah, because awwal doesn't mean always just beginning. Awwal can mean the afzal, the best. Yeah, so either it's the first or the most important part is ma'rifatuh. To know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa kamaluddin at-tasdiqu bih. And perfection of religion is to confirm His presence, His lordship. This ma'rifah is very important. In Jose, there was a book that for many, many years was a first textbook. And still in some places they study. It's called Jami'ul Muqaddamat. Jami'ul Muqaddamat was the first book that we used to study in the Jose. And the first book inside this book was Sharhul Amsaleh. Sharhul Amsaleh, and then was Sarf Amir and Tasrif and Sharh Tasrif and so on. Yes, Sharhul Amsaleh, which was the explanation of different casts for verbs, Awzan. So the first sentence was this: Bedan أيدك الله تعالى في الدارين. Bedan means no. Bedan means e'lam. Be aware, learn. Bedan أيدك الله تعالى, because it was in Farsi. It's a Farsi book. Bedan means no, be aware. أيدك الله تعالى في الدارين. May Allah help you in both worlds. أول الدين أول العلم معرفة الجبار وآخر العلم تفويض الأمر إليه. This is the first thing you learn in the first day in Jose. And I think it's enough for all your life. أول العلم معرفة الجبار. The first part of knowledge is to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last is to submit your affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tafwizul amre ilahi. So knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very important. Under ma'rifatullah, few things come. Because you may ask, what does it mean that they should know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What does it mean? Does it mean just He exists? No, it's more than that. One of the things that come under ma'rifatullah is knowing Allah as your Lord. Lordship, rububiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, if you just know that Allah exists, Allah is Khaliq, Allah is Raziq, but you don't believe that He is your only Rabb, it's not enough. The main thing, or you can say the bottom line, is to believe in Allah as your only Rabb, your only Lord. Yes? This is very important. Lordship is very important. In a Islamic belief system course, we had a session about lordship, and we have explained what are different dimensions of lordship. Briefly, what is important is to know that He is in charge of our affairs. He is the one who is guardian over our life and life of other people. If I want rest, if I want knowledge, if I want happiness, health, successful family life, successful social life, everything comes from Him. And I need to develop good relation with Him. Then I make it very just quick. Knowing the Prophet and Imams. Ma'rifatul Nabi wal A'imma. This is also very important. Because if We know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we don't know how to understand our relation with Him and how to understand His expectations from us, how to receive His instructions. It's not enough. So we have to know Allah, and we have to know the people through whom Allah has guided us. Yeah? Question of guidance is very important. A child should know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not as someone who would punish if you do something wrong. Yeah? This can be maybe in a later stage of life. A child should know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the supplier of everything good. As the one who loves us so much that He has created everything for us. And He has given our parents, He has given food, He has given everything, He has given Prophet, He has given Imam, He has given us Quran. Everything should be more language of love, language of mercy, so that they feel they should be thankful. Not that they feel they should be fearful. Yeah? Musa alayhi salam was asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Musa, you should make people love me and endear me to people, or make them love me. Habbibni ila khalq. Habbibni ila khalq. And then he asked, how? How can I make them love you? Then Allah said, Zakirhum bi'alai. Remind them of my blessings and bounties. If you were, for example, in college or university, and you had shortage of money, everyone was paying for your university or college fees, was paying for your accommodation. How do you feel towards that person? Pardon? Grateful. If the same person was also supporting you for all your schooling, you feel more grateful. If this person supported you even before going to school, even helped your parents to take you to hospital to deliver you, you feel very grateful. If this person has given your parents to you, so if we really understand how much Allah has given us, it's impossible not to love Him. So Allah said to Musa, Zakirhum bi'alai. Remind them of my blessings. I am sure if there was a person that had done 1 in million of what Allah has done to us, we always kiss the hand of that person. If someone just was giving us, for example, money, or I had lots of illnesses and that person gave me health, or saved for me my parents, or my children, and Allah has done all this for us, why we don't feel grateful? Because we have not thought carefully about this, and we easily take things for granted. This is a sad thing about us. As soon as a ni'mah is there for 2-3 days, we take it for granted. One of ulama said something very moving. He said, you see people, how much they want to see Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajah. Yeah? They are ready to do many things. You know. Some people go 40 successive weeks to Masjid al-Sahleh or to Jamkaran so that they can see Imam Zaman. Yes? But this alim was saying that if Imam Mahdi comes, maybe Some people, I'm not saying all, some people, maybe many, maybe I don't know how many. The first day they would be very excited to see Imam. The second day, they're still excited. But if they know Imam is going to be here for a few years, they okay, today I don't know, I feel tired. Inshallah, in weekend I go and say prayer behind him. And then it becomes every month, then every 6 months. Then it's okay, and just night of Qadr I go and So, unfortunately, as soon as something is available, we take it for granted. When our, for example, parents are there, we don't spend that much time to visit them. When they die, I say, I wish I was every day going, to visit them. So this is the sad part, that we take things for granted. We need actively remind ourselves and others of the bounties of Allah so that we love. Amir al-Mu'minin has a very beautiful hadith. It says, إِذَا أَكْرَمَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا شَغَلَهُ بِمَحَبَّتِهِ. إِذَا أَكْرَمَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا شَغَلَهُ بِمَحَبَّتِهِ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors someone, He would make him busy with his love. Means he would become preoccupied with love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amir al-Mu'min. So Allah chooses the people who love Him. Yes? He doesn't let everyone to love Him. He doesn't show Himself to everyone. Because they don't appreciate them. So you have to appreciate. In a hadith which is like dua, Rasulullah said, Allahumma ja'al hubbaka ahabba al-ashya'i ilay. Oh Allah, make love for you the most beloved thing to me. If you can insert this love in the hearts of your students, that is enough for you and for them. Make these people love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All their life they will benefit from this. We have a good dua that sometimes I read in the dua qunut. Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbaka wa hubba man yuhibbuka wa hubba kulla amalin yusaluni ilayk. Oh Allah, I ask you for your love and love of those who love you and love of every action that bring me to you. Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbaka wa hubba man yuhibbuka wa hubba kulla amalin yusaluni ilayk. If you love Allah and the people that love Allah and the actions that take you to Allah, then you are guaranteed to success. I don't remember which Masum said. Okay. I think we would have a short break and inshallah then we continue. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.